It's time. The WRC is back in action for 2025. Welcome along, everyone. It's Rally Monte-Carlo time, what we've all been waiting for since Rally Japan finished last year. I'm Bex Williams. Alongside me is Mike Chen, and there are our world champions ready to tackle Shakedown for us. Thierry Neuville and Martijn Vidaga are freshly crowned champions of WRC after Rally Japan last year. Another season is about to get underway. Chenny, welcome back to it all. It is, of course, the absolute legendary Rally Monte-Carlo that we kick-started all with. Always a difficult one to start the season with, but a brilliant rally, such a challenge.
Such a mega rally, isn't it, Bex? And so many changes as well this year. As you can see, starting mainly with the tyres. Hankook, a new tyre supplier this year, so it's a real learning weekend for the drivers and for the tyre manufacturer as well. You know, one of the things I've been saying is, and it's key, critical for this rally actually, is getting the tyre temperature up, and on such a rally like Monte-Carlo, where the grip levels are consistently changing, it's difficult to get the temp into the tyre straight away from the off, and I think it'll be the drivers that can do that and get the tyre working for them that'll take a big advantage. You can see how slippery it is already out there. Bex, a car moving around underneath our world champion.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to be like for the whole weekend, is that we've got mixed conditions here. As you can see, it is very damp out on this stage, with bits of snow hanging about on it earlier on.
Oh, he's outrated himself there. Just ran a little bit wide, nabbed the handbrake, got the car rotated and turned around. But again, that's what I'm talking about. It's a first heavy braking zone, and you're going downhill, so gravity's working against you, and the car just running a little bit wide.
But yeah, mixed weekend ahead in terms of the weather. We'll always talk about the weather here at Rally Monte-Carlo. You know, we have seen some snow on some of the stages that have been wrecked so far. Will that be washed away by the slightly warmer temperatures? It is going to plunge again in the night time, so it could be black ice out there. Certainly for Thursday night's opening stages, it's going to be a tough one to call for the crews. But of course, Thierry Neuville, not only our freshly crowned world champion, but the winner of Rally Monte-Carlo last year as well. So he's got that little bit more confidence under his belt.
Yeah, and we always say it, don't we? You know, it's all about confidence in rallying, and we've seen, well, we can't read too much into this, but there's been plenty of times in the past where a driver that's won Rally Monte-Carlo has gone on to win the championship, and that happened last year. But I think it's a little bit different this year with, as I said, Hankook, the new tyre supplier. Everybody's learning how to make the tyre work. We're not running hybrid. The cars are a little bit lighter as well. 80 kilos lighter, that makes them a little bit more nimble. So there's all these things to consider, and I actually think when you look at the raft of changes in the regulations and what the teams have been doing in the off-season, which we'll talk about across the weekend, I actually think we're set for a really exciting year of rallying.
Yeah, we certainly are. On board now then with Elvin Evans and Scott Martin. Let's cross out to the stop control with Molly Pettit.
Thierry, that number one looking very good on the car. How does it feel heading into a new season as a reigning world champion?
Yeah, I mean, happy to be here again. Yeah, it's an honor to have the number one on the car, but it doesn't mean that it won't be any easier this year, so we have to fight for it again. I mean, we have clear targets as a team for this year, and yeah, we want to make the best out of it, and yeah, try to go for the both titles again would be really nice. So let's give our best and try to enjoy it.
It was a thrilling end to the season last year. Obviously, Thierry and Martijn picking up the drivers and co-drivers World Championship title. Toyota taking the manufacturers, and all on the final round of the season. And of course, Nick, you talked about a lot of we've got new events this year. We'll have a new finale to the WRC, and that is Rally Saudi Arabia. Could it all go down to the wire there again this year? We certainly hope so. Now, we saw some fantastic pace from Elvin on this event last year. So the countdown, you can see to Neuville's time through the first run of Shakedown.
This rally, like all of them, is just going to be determined. Every year we've been, it's going to be determined by tyre choice, getting the tyre choice right. You've got 4 compounds to choose from: the soft, the super soft, the Hankook Z 215 tyre, and then you've got the snow non-studded and the snow studded, and they are basically, well, they are the same tyre. They're exactly the same tyre. They've just got studs in them, and it's the same with the dry tyre, the soft and super soft. They're exactly, the makeup of the tyre is exactly the same. It's just the compound that's different. And maximum of 38 tyres throughout the rally. Getting that right is going to be the difficult bit. Whoever gets that right will.
And how are you feeling about this year's Rally Monte-Carlo? You were quick here last year, but some interesting conditions it looked like out on the recce.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a challenging weekend for us, probably a bit more so than last year, I would say. So yeah, it's always demanding, this rally, and yeah, you have to try and enjoy it in all the madness somewhere.
More challenging than last year, what specifically?
I think just the conditions. I think we had it like reasonably straightforward last year. This year it looks a lot more mixed.
You have to enjoy it amongst all of the madness. That's a great way to sum it up, isn't it? He's absolutely right. Such mixed conditions, and as Jenny said, getting that tyre choice right, that could be an absolute lottery, because what the drivers discovered on the recce is that some of the stages were dry in parts. Then you'd have these icy, slushy stretches. So, you know, it's going to be a compromise at some points.
If you're on the tyre, if you're on the right tyre for more than 50% of the rally, then you take that as a win, you know.
Absolutely.
Because you're quite right, at the start of some of the stages, the temperature, right down the bottom of the mountain, the temperature will be up, it'll be bone dry tarmac, and as you head up the mountain, the temperature starts to drop, and then you might hit some wet patches, and then as you get to the top, you get to snow and ice. So you need 4 different tyres just for that stretch of road, and you've got to make a decision on what rubber you're going to go for, and that makes the safety note crews, the gravel crews, job so important as they're going through the stages before the cars do, and that helps you make a decision on what rubber you're going to run.
Oitanak, Martin Ogier through then with the fastest time so far on this shakedown run, 2:09.8, as we switch to the master of Monte, 9 wins at this event under his belt. Sebastian Ogier back with Toyota for a partial season again this year. Let's cross out and hear from Hoyt.
What are your impressions over the last couple of days of recce? What is this year's edition going to look like?
It looked quite wet, to be honest. Looks quite tricky like this. Yeah. The grip is quite unpredictable at the moment, and not so much of that at the moment. So yeah, it's tricky.
That's one of the words you're going to hear a lot of during the weekend. That's going to come out of the bag many times. As you can see there on your screen, the most wins to Sebastian Ogier, with Loeb on 8, Volterol and Tommy McErlean on 4, Didier Auriol, Carlos Sainz on 3 apiece at the Monte.
You can see that road just getting dirtier and dirtier. I mean, it was what Sebastian Ogier is the 4th car through, and you can see the cuts that people have taken. That's all that muck from the inside just getting pulled out onto the road. So as more cars come through, the grip levels, particularly at the apex on the way out of the corner, the grip levels are going down. Such an advantage running at the front on tarmac, particularly when conditions are wet.
And Sebastian Ogier then through the red boards. He will dearly be wanting to take win number 10 here at his home event, and we are very much on home territory for Sebastian Ogier. The Rally Service Park, the centre of the rally, based in Gap, the town, of course, he was born and brought up in. Well, it's actually his little village is up in the mountains somewhere, but basically this is the nearest big town. It's where he learned to drive, Jenny.
What a year this young man had last year in that M Sport Puma, now making the switch out to Hyundai. It's going to be really interesting to see what Adrian Fourmaux can do.
What is it going to be like out there? How tricky?
So far the conditions are not the light you want to see in Monte-Carlo. Not so much snow, a lot of water, getting very quickly dirty on the road. So it might be a very difficult weekend,
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be, and hopefully you will be with us for the full duration of the rally, right up till Sunday, right up to the final stage, which of course encompasses the famous Col de Turini, which does, at the moment at least, have some snow on it in parts. You mentioned what a season Fourmaux had last year. I mean, incredible. To take his first WRC podiums away with M Sport Ford, and now the opportunity with Hyundai. Full season there. It's a switch.
Yeah, I mean, how's he gonna cope mentally with having all Tanak and Thierry Neuville in the team with him? And he's made a big step up, and he's ready for it, no question. You know, this pace last year was phenomenal, wasn't it? But it's gonna be fascinating to see how he.
I think he brought so much to the party last year. Obviously the pace, the podiums, the consistency. We loved his whole personality, and watching that develop last year as well as the confidence grew. So much promise with Fourmaux.
I think that's a relatively steady run through for Adrian. You can hear he was quite early on the brakes in places when he was going down through the gearbox. He was a bit tentative, and there's more time in him there if he wants it. I think just easing in, and nobody wants to make a mistake on the very first shakedown of the year.
Let's switch back out to Toyota now then. Takamoto Katsuta, Aaron Johnston. The shakedown state unchanged. You guys are very familiar with it.
Slipping straight away. Look how dirty the road is there, but he just can't get the power down.
Adrian, first of all, I see you have a cross of the winter tire and the slick. How did that feel?
Well, it's a really tricky shakedown already. It started with a challenging stage at the beginning. It's going to be a big challenge for all of us with the new tires to understand, etc. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to follow, I think.
What's a realistic target for you this weekend?
Make the right tire shows all the time.
That's a great realistic target.
So Adrian Fourmaux is obviously he's running the cross, which is good because you're gathering data there and you're understanding how it works. But I think more critically than that, he's looking at what tyres are available to him throughout the weekend. And I think the non-studded snow tyre is going to get used a lot. And he's basically, the tyres you're using in Shakedown are the ones you're using for the rally.
Yeah.
So I think what he's actually doing is trying to save the non-studded snow tyre for the rally itself by running the cross, because there's only 12 of those available. Everything else you've got 24. So I just think Adrian's maybe just playing a little bit of strategy there.
Taka Katsuta then through 2.9 seconds adrift of Tanak's pace. Tanak, the fastest man through run one of Shakedown. Remember, the rally stages themselves begin tomorrow. We have a fantastic ceremonial start in Casino Square, then up into the darkness, into the mountains tomorrow evening.
Do you know what, Bex? If there's one thing I want to see happen this year, is Takamoto Katsuta and Aaron Johnson stood on the top step of the podium.
Taka, finally time to try the rally car again. How did it feel?
Yeah, it's a new year, new feeling from the car tires, so yeah, going to be big challenge, but speed is quite good.
Again, last year with Taka, and he described it himself as a bit of a difficult season, up and down. We did see brilliant pieces of pace. He wants to tie that all together this year, but we welcome back for a full season this time around, Kalle Rovanper and Jone Halttunen. With one target in mind, I'm very much sure, Mike Chen, and that is to regain another title.
Yeah.
Get that title back.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at benchmarks, don't you? And now, I think, based on his championship win last year, Thierry Neuville comes into this year as driver's champion, but I'd say Kalle Rovanper probably remains, now that he's back, has to be the favourite, doesn't he? And so far as benchmarks go from a manufacturer's perspective, Toyota are still the manufacturer's champions, and they put the best package together last year, the most consistent package, and let's see if they can do that again this year, get the double done.
I think it's fantastic to welcome him back. You know, the more competition, the better out there, and he certainly provides that. Just a little bit slower than Tanak's benchmark time.
That road's getting very, very dirty, though. That's not a bad run through from Kalle. And this is what he's going to be dealing with throughout the weekend. And, you know, Sebastian Ogier said it beautifully. You know, the road is getting dirty, the grip levels are dropping, and the likes of Thierry Neuville and Elfyn Evans have really got to take advantage of their road position in these conditions.
Gregoire Munster now, Luca leading the M Sport Forward team into 2025. And I have to say, they've pulled it out of the bag with the livery again. It's always pretty special at M Sport every year, and it does look the business.
Looks mega, doesn't it? It's great.
For Sami Pajari, it is Marco Salminen alongside for his season in a Rally 1 in 2025. And I think, you know, a lot of eyes are going to be on Sami this year. And of course, you know, when we get Martin Sesks coming back to the championship in Sweden, they were the two young drivers that really, I would say, invigorated the championship last year, Chenny. You know, they got a lot of fans.
Quite dirty after the first pass of Shakedown. How did you find it?
Yeah, it's getting really, really dirty and quickly, so yeah, it's not so bad time considering the starting place. The road is already full of mud everywhere, so I think it's going to be a tricky week, and especially the Thursday and Friday when we are not in the same starting place, going to be really tricky with the pollution.
And finish, please. Yeah, I think he's absolutely right. It's something we're going to have to watch out for. And obviously we saw Gregoire Munster heading into the stage. I think we may well have an issue with his onboard, which is why we're not seeing any more of him and why we're on Sami Pajari right now. But we will hear from Gregoire, of course, with Molly at the stop control. You know, big year ahead, but it's a learning year as well for Sami Pajari. Rally 1 machinery, we did see him in the Rally 1 car, of course, with the hybrid unit last year. Again, just to really kind of make sure everyone is aware, we have a lot of changes coming into this year's championship, and we do not have the hybrid unit, of course, with the Rally 1 cars. This is a non-hybrid Rally 1s, and there is Gregoire Munster. 2:16.7 is the time.
I think not having the hybrid suits these younger drivers. Is one less thing they've got to learn how to make work for them.
That's true.
It's been a long and busy week for you guys so far. How does it feel to finally be in a rally car?
Yeah, it's good, tricky condition to start with, surely driving on slick tire, but I pulled twice the handbrake and something wrong with the disconnecting, so I will go back to service.
Yeah, they're not too far away from the service park, the Shakedown stage, maybe about 10 minutes away. So he's going to come back and mechanics can have a quick look around that.
Yeah, it's vital that they get that sorted, because obviously in Monte-Carlo in these conditions you're relying on the handbrake a lot of the time, not just because of the hairpins, but if you get into trouble and you can't get the car turned in, you nip the handbrake and it just forces the back of the car around and points the front of the car where you want it to go. So I'm sure they'll be able to sort that out, and as we always say, if you're going to have a problem, it's in Shakedown that you want it to be.
Yeah, of course.
Just iron all of that out for the weekend.
Exciting to see, though, Sami have this amazing opportunity with Toyota this year, the big step up. And it's actually some of the Toyota drivers that you guys have gone for out there when you've been voting as to who you think will be on the top step of the podium. It's Ogier and Rovanper who are coming in at the top of the vote, sharing at 25% of the vote each. Let's see what Sunday will bring us.
I'll tell you what, Bex, that is a great run through from Kalle Rovanper, considering the road conditions. To just go 7/10 slower. He's, yeah, it's a good start to the weekend for him.
Yeah, and well, we'll hear from him with Molly in just a few moments. Josh McErlean now and Owen Tracy. What an opportunity they have in 2025, stepping into Rally 1.
Sami, it's great to see you take this step up into a Rally 1 full-time drive. How would you describe what you've seen over the last couple of days on Recce?
The Recce was interesting, but even more interesting was here some deers. I don't know if you saw it live or not, but there was like 5 deers in the middle of the road, so I was really, really close to hit them. So yeah, I lost a little bit of focus on them, I would say, but yeah, all fine.
And the time isn't so bad.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we did clock that. As he said, though, he did avoid them, but he did have to back off to do that as a little bit of a distraction for him in the stage. Let's talk about Josh and Owen here. You know, new partnership for this year and the big step up. It's going to be a huge learning curve throughout the season, and they've got to relish every single moment of this.
Absolutely. The first thing is just every time, and I say this, Josh, every time you pull a gear, just to do with a big smile on your face and enjoy it, because you live in every rally driver's dream at the moment, and we have got to, there's no question, limit our expectations. It's a massive, massive learning year for Josh McErlean in that M Sport Puma, and you know, his job this weekend is simply to get to the end of the rally. And to be honest, Bex, I think for the first 3 or 4 rallies, the only person that Josh McErlean is really competing against is himself.
Yeah, that's right.
And then after that, for the rest of the year, it's his teammate Gregoire Munster. Anything else is a bonus, and we've just I think we've just got to look after Josh a little bit, because and just protect him a bit, because it's a massive challenge ahead of him, and it's going to take a little while for the times to come, I think.
Into WRC2 now, the Toyota of Oliver Solberg. Elliot Edmondson, of course, back in the co-driving seat. Let's cross out though and hear from Josh.
Josh, it's really great to see you in this car, and I'll quote Jenny now, you're living every rally driver's dream. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's honestly a dream to even start this rally, start the stage in this car with the whole team. But yeah, it's not a dream, so let's ride the roller coaster and see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll all be riding that roller coaster with you as well, I feel. Bit of a switch then for Oliver Solberg this year. New car, it is, of course, what Sami Pajari was in last year, and he had a very successful season in WRC2.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd have to say that Oliver is the favourite, based on pace alone from last year. A bit of an issue with the windscreen wipers there. They're just not clearing, are they? Elliot did spray some water up, but not clearing. That'll be hindering his progress a little bit. But you have to say that's a proven package, isn't it? That car, we know it works. It's quick.
Yeah.
And
Principal running the car this year, as last year, and for Oliver and Elliot, they're not scoring points here. They're not nominated for WRC2 points. So there's a bit of a pressure off.
Yeah.
He can, get to grips with the car, understand the car, adapt to it.
It's a great way of kicking off your year when you haven't got that pressure of, I've got to score points for my championship campaign.
Yeah.
Instead, I can learn the car. We can all, you just get a bit more seat time, and then you kick things off in Sweden. And I think, boy, is he going to be quick in Sweden.
I'm sure he is. I like the livery on the car as well, designed by a tattoo artist.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It does. Switch out then to Nikolai Gryazin, again another driver not nominated for WRC2 point scoring here.
Look how dirty that road has got, Bexy.
Oliver, there's a lot going on here. This is very loud. It goes well with your personality.
Well, we'll see in the dark tomorrow if it's a bit too loud, but no, it's aura.
Tell us a bit about the last couple of days. What are your impressions from the recce?
It's fantastic, first of all, to be back, really, really fun to start this new adventure with Toyota. It's a dream come true to be part of the family, and I think this will be a very exciting rally, and the recce looked beautiful until today. It looked horrible, so the weather will definitely be very interesting, and with the new tires, who knows what to use in these conditions, so we'll see, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's the understanding they've all got to have. It is that kind of level playing field in the sense that they're all getting used to brand new package and understanding in mixed conditions. He's talked about the beautiful weather we've had. It's been blue skies and sunny the past 2 days, and now we've got this kind of dredge, awful greyness and rain today. We're hoping this disappears, to be quite frank.
I am and I'm not for that very reason. See the way the car was moving around all over the place there. The conditions, this is what Monty should be for me. It should be wet at the bottom of the mountains and up at the top it should be snow and ice and just a real challenge.
I'm happy for it to be icy.
You're just thinking of your tan.
I want to be, no, I want it to be colder. I don't want it to be wet. I want a bit of black ice going on in here. I want a bit of snow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all part of the challenge, isn't it? Gryazin had a great year last year as well, Bex, and again, a man who's going to be right in the fight.
He really, yeah, he's
was so good. Yeah, absolutely. WRC2 was so good in 2024. I suspect that 2025 is going to be exactly the same. Just this nip and tuck fight that's going to go right down to the wire.
Nikolai, it's time for Monte-Carlo again. You've gone very well here in the past. What's the plan for the weekend?
Let's see. We will see how the road is now after the wreck and etc. So yeah, we need to learn the tires yet. So it's not really too much driving on the new tires. So no, we'll take the care in the beginning, I guess, just to find everything, the grip and etc. Just to understand what to achieve from setup wise. And if it starts to be feels good, okay, we will do our job.
We had such an epic title battle in WRC2, didn't we? You know, these are some shots from back in the service area here in Gap. Oitanak electing to head back. He's having a chat there with Cyril Abitable.
Such a unique rally, isn't it, Monte-Carlo, in the way the car is set up and obviously tyre choice and everything else. And because of the conditions in the stages, it's so difficult to get the car to work for you right 100% of the time. The whole thing is a compromise here. Tyre choice, setup, everything, and just trying to find that sweet spot is all part of the challenge of Rallye Monte-Carlo, both for the drivers and for the engineers and mechanics.
I have to say though, Chenny, Rallye Monte-Carlo last year, this man, Pepe Lopez, the battle between them with Johan Rossel stealing it on the final stage. Oh my goodness, it was so good. Johan Rossel was on form, Pepe Lopez was on form, and it went down right to the final stage for the win here. It was something really special. And you know what's great about Johan Rossel is that he will have alongside him this year, also in the same team, his brother. So that's going to be fascinating. Sibling rivalry as well.
It's great because you can share all the data, everything you've learned, you share across the service area. So Johan Rossel will go well, as I hope will this man, Gus Greensmith.
So you have quite a bit to live up to with your recent results here in Monte-Carlo. What is the plan for the weekend? How tricky is it going to be?
Yeah, the plan is to do no mistake, not like that. I spin on a slow corner in first gear. Yeah, very tricky condition. I don't understand very well the grip, but I think it's the same for everybody. Yeah, just happy to come back in World Championship.
What's it like lining up next to your brother in the same team?
It's a strange feeling, to be honest, but I think it's very cool, and the plan is to be happy at the end.
Yeah, Johan Rossel will go well here this weekend, I'm sure. But as I was saying, Gus Greensmith, he had a shocker last year, even by his own standards. You know, Gus will just tell you, he'll just go, yeah, it just was a disaster. But now you wipe the slate clean, you go again, and he's had some real positive tests in a good frame of mind, and I really hope that Gus can have a good year in 2025.
Yeah, he's another driver that isn't nominated for points here this weekend. And that's Gus through, as you can see, 3.6 off the pace of Oliver Solberg. We're into WRC2 territory now then, with our shakedown run well and truly as we spy back into the Hyundai service area here in Gap. See Fourmaux in fresh overalls, different team. It takes a while to get used to, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah, it's strange, that's for sure.
Okay, Roberto Dapr. He'll be looking for a lot this year, I think. You know, we did see some good results from him within the WRC2 category last year. Always a driver that's pushing himself more and more.
We don't have the longest break in rallying, but how does it feel to be back and a fresh start?
It's
it's nice to be back. First time driving these new tyres in the wet, so yeah, I think it's going to be a learning weekend for everyone. But yeah, the conditions look very Monty, more like in the past.
Are we going to see dampness, or is that dampness going to turn to ice, do you think?
I don't really care what it does as long as I've got the right tyres.
Yeah, it's not quite, you know, the phrases we used to hear, but I love that one. And as you mentioned before, even if you get it 50% right from the weekend, you're winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Roberto Dapr last year was his first full season in the WRC2 category. His best result was in 6th position overall. That was on gravel of Latvia.
This is going to be a really tough weekend for him, you know, because it's Rallye Monte-Carlo. It's the conditions are so tricky. But what he got last year was good, solid seat time, and he's made upgrades, hasn't he? You know, with everything, the car, everything else. So it'll be interesting to see what he does, how he can get on this year. The key thing for all of the drivers, Bex, and that's Rally 1 or WRC 2, is just getting to the end of this weekend. Nobody wants to start the year off on a bad foot. So just getting it safely to the end, I think, particularly for somebody like Roberto, is the most important thing.
Well, let's see how he's found it in the new Fabia. We'll have a chat with him, with Molly Pettit at the stage end. Stop control.
Roberto, great to see you back. Giving Shakedown a go on the winter tyre, how did that feel?
Yeah, good. I just broke the ice because I'm really a bit stressful. It's my first race with a Skoda RS in the WRC 2. We have also the onboard this time, so yeah, it's a dream come true being there another year, and we will try to do our best without taking too much risk, and of course we will enjoy a lot.
Yeah, we're watching you now, Roberto. Every single move you make. That was Roberto Dapr there. And now we're back into the service area. There are the classifications then for the opening run of Shakedown. The first Shakedown of the year in 2025. And it is Oitanak who is fastest through on run 1 at least. Then it's Rovanper, Evans, Neuville, Ogier, Katsuta, Fourmaux, Munster and Pajari. Then Oliver Solberg completing the top 10 for us. A huge weekend in prospect as we mark the very first rally of a brand new season, with a lot of changes in various elements of competition and of course in driver movement as well. We'll be charting it all throughout the weekend, throughout every single stage that we head through. That's Adrian Fourmaux, of course, one of the changes, the major changes in terms of the drivers moving around. Let's take a look at what you can expect from us this weekend. We will be back on air tomorrow from 1:30. It's a pretty packed pre-show, which includes a very glamorous ceremonial start in Casino Square. Before we really get into it, and this is what we're waiting for, the stages on Thursday night, stages 1 to 3. Then you can see Friday, Saturday and Sunday, the conclusion of Rallye Monte-Carlo on Sunday. But that is so many kilometers in the distance right now. We have no idea who is going to be the 1, 2 and 3 there. But make sure you join us for every single stage. We will be live for all of it, welcoming in a brand new season and finding out who will be the ultimate victor here at the first event of the season. But that's it from us here at Shakedown. We will catch you all for the stages on Thursday.